this passage of play. 1-2 with Stones for Grealish. He's going to go back across to Diaz on the halfway line. Bit of a heavy touch. Allows Vinicius Junior to apply some pressure and Real Madrid to gain territory, if you like. But it's back with Diaz now on the right side of his own area. Goes for a diagonal ball up towards Grealish. It will be covered though by Valverde. We'll see it go out for a goal kick. Perhaps a little bit of impatience there from Diaz.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Guardiola won't be particularly impressed with the final ball. You know, they are just trying to force a few things. Manchester City. Okay, it's worked with a goal. You know, they were playing forward. They got you know, a really good opportunity and they scored it. But I think it would be a little bit disrespectful and probably a little bit foolish to continue to expect that's going to happen all the time tonight.
Yeah, indeed. Vinicius Junior now picks up the ball, trying to get into the box up against the Akanji. His cross is blocked by the Swiss. He's just looking to get the ball into the box again, but off to go back to Ceballos. Shooting chance for him over the bar, but it did have some dip on it. Looked like it might trouble Ederson after initially looking like it was going to go flying into the stands, but it did have some dip on it.
Yeah, I don't know what the shot count is right now, but I would imagine Real Madrid are well ahead. You know, they've tested Ederson, they've hit the crossbar, and they're kind of raining shots in on the Manchester City goal. Right now, but I would imagine Real Madrid are well ahead. They're somehow still ahead. Tested Ederson, they've hit the crossbar. Looks like Jack Grealish has got a problem here. Raining shots in on the Manchester City goal. He's down on his haunches, and I think he's either feeling unwell or Jack Grealish has got a problem here. I don't know what's hurt himself, and he's looking anxiously at the bench. I think he's hoping here that just by having a moment he can recover from it. But this is his biggest game of the season. He's been struggling for game time, and he's been thrown into the game tonight. He's actually done all right. He helped set up the goal, but I think his race is running.
Yeah, I think he's had a very good game. That lovely little chip over to Gvardiol eventually set up the first goal. I don't think he's allowed Valverde to dominate their duels either, which is impressive enough up against a talented player. It looks like he's going to make way for Phil Foden. He's certainly not comfortable. And Phil Foden was just getting dressed on the sidelines. So I'll wait for confirmation of that substitution, but it looks likely.
I just wonder whether he's jarred his back maybe or something like that in that earlier challenge with Valverde, where he went down on the byline. I think he won a corner at the time, and he got up and he looked a little bit sort of winded. Yeah. And now maybe it's stiffened up during the course of the next sort of 15 minutes or so, and he can't run. He hasn't got the mobility. So they've sent on Phil Foden.
Absolutely. So just confirmation there that Foden has replaced Grealish. We'll expect Foden to be a like-for-like change for Grealish, who goes down the tunnel.
Could go on the right, couldn't he, Foden?
He could.
And then
Savinho on the left. Yeah. We know. I think Savinho much prefers to cut in on his left, but of course that's also Foden's forte, if you like. Foden has gone on the right-hand side, so he'll be cutting in from the left, and Savinho, the left footer, will play on the left-hand side. Other than that, it looks like Manchester City are unchanged. They're sticking with this 2-3-2-3 formation. Three defenders ahead of two defenders, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is interesting from Pep Guardiola. Like I said a few moments ago that it could be brave or it could be stupid. So far, it's proving to be brave. So they are 1-0 up at home. Savinho picks the ball up on the halfway line. Stones looking to perhaps spread the ball out to Foden, but uses Akanji before doing so. Foden has already cut in on that left foot up against Mendy. Mendy just standing off though. Not going to get too tight to Foden, because before you know it, he'll be in behind him. Diaz bringing the ball forward, will go out wide to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's harried by Bellingham. Great tackle from Bellingham, but can't win the second ball. He seems to have hurt himself as the Englishman. He stayed down. Ederson, I think, will play on. I think he may have just be holding his face there. Not sure if a stray arm or hand of De Bruyne just caught him. Certainly didn't look like there was any violent conduct, that's for sure. Bernardo Silva now with the ball inside his own half, back to Akanji. Cross to Diaz. Diaz to Ake. And Manchester City just being a lot more patient than they were before the goal, really.
Yeah, they're not forcing it as much, are they? And you can see Pep Guardiola's grand vision starting to take shape now, can't you? Ball over the top now towards Haaland. So they've drawn the Real Madrid midfield up, and then they play over the top. and all of a sudden they've got 2 forwards there against the 2 centre backs, and it forces the full backs then to tuck in to offer some sort of cover in behind. So yeah, City all of a sudden they've got 60 yards up the pitch.
Absolutely, it's ball in from De Bruyne. It's headed clear. Kanji wins the second ball though, down to Foden on that right hand side. He's going to go all the way back to Diaz into Stones, who's definitely playing as a holding midfielder tonight for the Citizens. Diaz on the halfway line on the right hand side, just looking to take the ball past Vini Jr. Ball over the top, looking for De Bruyne. But Asensio's yet again won that battle. He's judged to have been fouled by the Belgian captain from Manchester City. So, but Manchester City, I think, certainly had more of the ball, and I think definitely been the better side since they scored, which is promising. We're just looking at the replay of the semi-automated offside, and it's only Haaland's hand that's beyond the ball, which of course you can't be offside from. Yeah, really, I think it was a really important goal for Manchester City, not only just in the grand scheme of things, but also because Real Madrid were looking like they were going to score at any time, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean this is clearly a sort of a game plan that Manchester City Guardiola has implemented specifically for this game, and you know it feels like it's very different to what City have done in previous games, so it would take time for them to get used to it. Of course, they'd have been training all week. You know, 8 changes from the Leyton Orient game, so probably whilst a lot of the players were having a day off on Sunday, City were on the training ground with this game plan being worked on. It just seems to have taken about sort of 20 minutes before we can see now what it's capable of doing, and the game seems to have changed a little bit here in these last few minutes as City get used to what's being asked of them.
Indeed, absolutely, and ball's won on the halfway line by Gvardiol up against Bellingham, plays it forward to De Bruyne. City have got some numbers in this attack, trying to feed it through to Savinho, intercepted by Valverde. That'll be cleared by Courtois, only as far as Akanji, deep inside Real Madrid's half. Stones out wide to Foden. Foden uses the overlap of De Bruyne. De Bruyne in for Bernardo Silva, cleared again by Asensio. They're claiming De Bruyne was offside. It did look like he was at first glance, but the linesman kept his flag down. And I think it's fair to say Asensio has been at Real Madrid one of their best players inside the first 35 minutes. Foden getting away from one, getting away from two, just short of options. He's got a circle of orange shirts around him, manages to lay it off to Akanji, to Stones in the middle of the park. Now Ake, deep inside Real Madrid's half, is the Dutch defender, out to Bernardo Silva on the left hand side, back inside to Ake. Ake goes for a long ball across to Foden, right on the corner of the box. He will bring the ball into the box, back onto his left foot, takes the shot! Courtois palms away. Savinho will win the second ball, takes a neat touch inside the area, but then brings it out of the area. He's doubled up by Rodrigo and Valverde, so can only go back to Ake. Still inside Real Madrid's half, looking to bring it into the attacking third, which they are now with Savinho on the left hand side. Back into Stones. Stones plays the ball across, looking for De Bruyne. De Bruyne will cross it in first time. In the end, it almost ended up being a shot on target, so a simple one for Courtois to take.
Yeah, how this game has changed in the last few minutes, and Phil Foden there, that shot was arrowing towards the top corner from his left foot, corner of the penalty area, like the Phil Foden of last season, and Courtois called into action again, and he was once more from the resulting cross from De Bruyne.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not been particularly quiet, has the Belgian goalkeeper certainly had a few clearances to make. Ball's won again fantastically by Gvardiol in an attacking area. Now Bernardo Silva's got a chance on the edge of the box, plays it through to Haaland, who will shoot! Wonderful block. I think it may have been from Asensio again, either him or Valverde. And I think Asensio is certainly been one of Real Madrid's best players.
Yeah, he's basically holding this Real Madrid defence together now. There were 2 players trying to block that Haaland shot, but it was Asensio who got there. Valverde was too late on the scene. The shot was past him, through his legs almost, before Asensio was the cover behind, put it behind for the corner.
Yeah, indeed. Great work from the young Spanish centre half, and Gvardiol as well has been fantastic for Manchester City in the last 5 or 10 minutes, winning the ball in key areas. The corner in from De Bruyne, it's an in-swinger inside the 6-yard box, header on, just goes over the bar from Akanji. And my oh my, how this game has changed indeed in the last 20 minutes or so. And it looks like the team's almost switched since the goal went in.
Yeah. I mean, that goal was clearly the turning point. Well, yeah. The move for the goal was the turning point, because You know, it was good football from City that scored the goal, but that really is obviously given them confidence now that they can sort of just be a bit more bold with the play, or be a bit more sort of possibly patient would perhaps be a better word than bold, because they are creating chances now. You know, and it's through the sort of usual Manchester City sort of dominance rather than the sort of sporadic play we perhaps saw from the opening few minutes.
Indeed, Real Madrid do have the ball again, though, albeit deep inside their own half. Asensio thinking about a long ball forward, instead goes across to Valverde. He's going to bring the ball forward into Camavinga, but well intercepted by Savinho, who's applauded by his manager for the attempt. Valverde just flicking it over Savinho's head, not particularly useful, as his then miscontrolled pass to Camavinga goes out for a throw-in. So City will have the ball again, following the throw-in inside their own half. Ake under a bit of pressure, will have to go back to his goalkeeper, who's pressed by his Brazilian teammate Vini Jr. Back to Ake, back to Ederson inside his own 6-yard box.
I don't think Mbappe's touched the ball in the last 15 minutes.
No.
And, you know, that's credit to Manchester City, isn't it? They're keeping the ball out of Real Madrid's playmakers' hands, and consequently they're danger man's hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, absolutely. His feet are the real danger. Extremely quick feet, of course. I mean, we saw him run through once following good work from Diaz and Ederson. He couldn't latch onto the chance. Other than that, he's been a little bit quiet. Real Madrid off the ball in a 4-4-2, really. Camavinga wins the ball away from Haaland. Ball over the top now for Rodrigo to chase. He's sort of transitioning from a right midfielder off the ball to a right winger on it.
Haaland's just body checked the referee and he dropped his whistle, which is quite an amusing moment.
Yeah, I thought he'd come off.
Oh no, it's his spray can.
Yeah, his magic spray to make sure that wall doesn't come forward. Of course, Manchester City with the ball again, following a goal kick. Foden all the way back to Diaz inside his own box to Ederson. Ederson through to Stones. Stones back to Diaz, still inside their own box. Come away now with Foden on the right hand side, who's inside the defensive third still. There's a bit of a... They're not particularly pressing Real Madrid, but they're keeping a high shape.
It's great. It's great. But I can see what Guardiola wants from his team now. You know, they're keeping the Real Madrid fullbacks pinned back, and it's because they have the control of the midfield area. You know, they've got the inverted fullbacks. They've essentially overloaded the midfield area. Their Real Madrid can't get the ball, and then when they make the moves, there's basically simultaneous runs being made by De Bruyne and Haaland, which then force the entire back four to retreat 20-30 yards, and City move up the pitch and have even more control of the midfield. It's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it is fantastic work from Pep Guardiola. Stones will bring it forward now, looking to chip it across to De Bruyne, and as you just mentioned, Simon, there's all of a sudden loads of space in between midfield and defence. Foden now on the edge of the area, perhaps looking to get it back in. Opts for Stones on the edge of the area. Stones will lay it off to Akanji, back to Foden. Foden just assessing his options, goes back to Diaz. I mean, the fact that Diaz and Akanji are so high up, almost 15 yards into Real Madrid's half, says it all really about the way Manchester City can just gain yardage so quickly in this system. Akanji now, again, 10 yards deep into Manchester City's half. Ball now with De Bruyne. Akanji into Foden, looking for the 1-2. Foden will check back to De Bruyne though. De Bruyne will now play the ball across the box, looking for Savinho, easily headed back down to his goalkeeper though by Valverde.
Yeah, that's one ball that isn't working tonight, the switch across. You know, when they play vertical passes into the channels, that is definitely causing Real Madrid a problem. The crossfield diagonal is not an issue for Real Madrid. No,
it's failed on 2 or 3 occasions now already, really, and I think it's a little bit of impatience. The ball's nicked though by Rodrigo up against Ake. Real Madrid have got a 3-on-3 here. Rodrigo goes all the way across the box, plays it back to Vini Jr. just ahead of him, which gives Akanji a chance to recover. Vini Jr. trying to dance around him and get a shot away perhaps, checks back, goes to get the ball in. Good defensive work from Akanji, who seems to have injured his groin though, as he's just hobbling away from that challenge.
Yeah, couldn't really do a lot with that pass from Rodrigo. He overplayed, didn't he? It was great work initially for him to nick it off Ake, and City were in trouble, but then Rodrigo has played a careless pass really to Vini Jr., who goes very wide, and then he tries to do his best to force it back in there, but he can't.
Ball comes in now, right on top of the goalkeeper, headed away again by Haaland at this near post. It's not the first time he's done that. So the ball will be picked back up by Rodrigo to Valverde. Valverde found himself in a left wing position at the moment. Camavinga goes across to Mbappe in a right wing position, looking to get past Savinho. Plays it back to Camavinga. He will play it along the half, back across to Valverde. Valverde down to Rodrigo. Valverde picks it back up and looks to shoot. Takes it past Bernardo Silva. Looks to shoot again, which he does, and it just brushes the fingers of Ederson, seemingly. Oh, it looks like a goal kick has been given. I think it was always rising, just didn't dip in time, and indeed the goalkeeper doesn't get a touch, but it had him interested.
I don't know. I think he does get a touch. Well, maybe not. It was a tough one to judge. Certainly Valverde felt the keeper got a touch there. That's the signal he was making. It was a good running shot from him. He's been good so far in this slightly unfamiliar fullback role. I just wonder whether maybe Ancelotti will be thinking about how to counteract Guardiola's measures at half-time. As a risky ball out from Ederson just about makes it through.
Yeah, there's a chance now for Bellingham on the edge of the area, who's looking to play a ball through to Mbappe, but a vital touch in there from Haaland doing his defensive work. Bunwell well by Gvardiol. Now Savinho's going to try and bring it away. He thinks he's been fouled. That's what the referee has ruled as well. Up against Bellingham. A little bit of a tussle between those two. I think Bellingham just potentially pulled him back a bit. Yeah, which he does. I mean, it's soft, but it's perhaps enough for a foul under some referees' ruling.
So I mean, Ancelotti will be thinking about how he can change this game. I mean, it's crying out for Real Madrid to go three at the back. You know, three at the back. Then you've got wing backs there who are going to fill the midfield, counter Manchester City's overload, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got more control of the midfield than they have. But he's running out. He's not got any centre backs, has he? That's why Guardiola's plan is working so well. There's no way Ancelotti can bring another centre back on at this stage to do that because he hasn't got any.
No, indeed. It's quite an attacking bench. Indeed, plenty of attacking threat, but like you say, the defensive reinforcements aren't particularly of this echelon of match. So it'll be interesting to see what both managers do at half-time. You'd think Guardiola wouldn't change anything, of course, the way Manchester City have played in the last half an hour. Ball over the top, again looking for Haaland, and yeah, they just seem to be getting a little bit impatient at parts, Manchester City. Certainly tactical fault. Onward forward by Courtois. Lovely little touch by Rodrigo. Nice layoff again from Mbappe. Rodrigo will pick it up again. He's got Mendy and Vinicius Junior in support on the left hand side. Vinicius Junior looking to get in the box ahead of Akanji, which he does. Ball across the box. There's no one there. And I mean, if I was the Brazilian, I'd be absolutely fuming. That is a fantastic ball. There was absolutely no run from Bellingham or indeed Rodrigo on that, or Valverde, sorry, on that right hand side.
I think it was Valverde who was the one who let him down there, because he can see, you know, you see that Savinho is his guy. And he's actually made the track back, and he should be going in the box with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Mbappe just pickpocketed in the box by Savinho. Manchester City are defending extremely well as well. Both teams dropping back into quite a large defensive shape, almost involving all 10 outfield players every time they are having to defend. 4 minutes of added time have been ruled. We're 2/3 of the way through the first minute of those. Bellingham just getting the ball away in midfield. He's been a little bit quiet in the last 10 minutes or so. Chance now for Mendy to try and bring the ball forward, which he does, into Manchester City's half, off to Bellingham, who twists and turns and is eventually fouled by Bernardo Silva. Play going again quickly with Ferland Mendy. Across to Rodrigo, back to Bellingham. Bellingham's got a little bit of space. Tiptoes away from Haaland. Out now with Valverde on the right hand side up against Gvardiol. He's trying to slip it in for Bellingham. Gvardiol's going to try and stop it from going out for a corner, which he does, just about, it seems, but it'll be picked up again by Asensio. Back to Valverde. Valverde back to Camavinga. Camavinga back across to Asensio. The Frenchman will now look to bring it forward onto Rodrigo. Manchester City, like I say, a really firm bank of 10 players there behind the ball. Ball across Now with Vinicius Junior, always trouble when he's got the ball. He's looking to get past Akanji yet again. Checks it back to Camavinga, who lays it off to Mbappe, who shoots, and it's just deflected over the bar. It looked like it might be an unfortunate touch from Diaz that almost looped his own goalkeeper, but in the end it's great work from the Manchester City centre-half.
Yeah, he's done enough, hasn't he? Just in the right position to block that. It was a nice connection from Mbappe. It looked like it was just going to ping towards... just ping towards that far corner. But the defender did enough, and now there's a player gone down. This is the earlier groin problem for Akanji, which he got when blocking that cross from Vinicius Junior, and now he's back to his feet. But the last thing that City want here is to have to make another change in the first half.
Yeah, I think you can see De Bruyne and Diaz, the two captains of Manchester City, if you like, telling him to get back to his feet, saying, "We need you for this corner, mate. Let's just go in at half time and see how you feel." Looked like he was limping away. Ball comes in from Rodrigo, headed clear by Ake, only to the edge of the box though for Valverde. Now back in the box with Mbappe. He lobs it towards the back stick, but header is won by Gvardiol. De Bruyne now trying to bring it away. The ball is played against his own man. Still have the ball just about, do Manchester City, with De Bruyne up against Tchouameni. Long ball played forward for Real Madrid, all the way across to Rodrigo. Plenty of Manchester City bodies back. He's going to dance and turn away from one. Plays the ball through the legs and into Mbappe, who puts it over the bar. There's no excuse for that from 15 yards out. A man of his quality absolutely has to be hitting the target there. Yeah. Ancelotti, understandably, looking on with a little bit of frustration.
Nice golden chance, isn't it? You know, he's not only 15 yards out, he's in 15 yards of space, really, isn't he? There's a lot of space inside the City area, and he leans back, and his technique lets him down badly there.
Yeah, he's leaning back. As you say, does let him down. A poor way, really, for a man of his quality. We're so used to watching him get his head down and just put power on the ball with his laces. That time he ought to almost pass it in with his instep. Like I say, almost trying to bend it into the top left corner, it seemed, but he got it all wrong. So there's still just a few seconds left of play. There may even be a few seconds added on, which there does seem to be, as Camavinga's bringing the ball forward. Going to play it out wide to Mendy. Vinicius Junior almost got it in the way, but the ball has found Mendy, and the referee will blow for half time to Real Madrid's disgust. So it's half time at the Etihad. Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0.
Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Gvardiol, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City, though, dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time, it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Gvardiol, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City, though, dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time, it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Gvardiol, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City, though, dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time, it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Gvardiol, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City, though, dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time, it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid started much the better, had 3 quality chances which they spurned. Ederson denied Mbappe. There was a clearance off the line to stop Ferland Mendy, and then Vinicius Junior hit the crossbar from a tight angle, but the game turned on a brilliant City goal set up by Grealish's pass over the top, chest down from Guardiola, and a finish from Erling Haaland. Grealish had to go off injured shortly after that, and Manchester City though dominated for the rest of the half and perhaps should be 2-0 up. At half-time it's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Half-time at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Real before half-time, and he's been replaced by Rico Lewis as City win the ball back from Asensio. He grabs hold of Foden, but Foden releases the ball. Now it's played through to Haaland inside the box on his left foot. Can he strike for goal? He's found some space. He hits a shot, takes a deflection, and comes off the woodwork. Real Madrid rocking. The crossbar still rattling. Haaland's trying to get the ball back on the rebound, and eventually he's fouled his man, or he's offside, and Real Madrid have a free kick.
Yeah, indeed. It looked like he doubled the lead for the citizens. It's a deflected shot, I think, that went onto the crossbar. Nice work for De Bruyne to play it into Haaland. Just really well to keep shifting the ball. Yeah, it just takes a touch off Tchouameni. In fact, he comes off of Camavinga's right thigh. Courtois was very much a spectator for that as it come off the upright.
Yeah, long ball forward from Real Madrid is going to be chested down by Gvardiol and returned by Lewis to Ederson. City play it out to the substitute now, who knocks it down the line, then tries to make space for Phil Foden. Foden does well in a tight area and plays it back infield to Stones. So has Carlo Ancelotti been able to tweak something to try and wrestle back the initiative in this game? Initiative that they had in the opening 15 minutes, or 18 minutes really, before that City goal. Bernardo Silva plays it back to Ake, and he finds Diaz. Again, this very aggressive sort of 2-3-3-2 formation as the ball's played over the top for Haaland. Haaland again finding space in the box, but just denied there by Tchouameni, and then Ceballos knocks it off Haaland's legs for a throw to Real Madrid.
Yeah, Haaland again trying to bully the ball back into his possession. Just losing out that time.
Real Madrid play it short out from the back. Mendy to Vinicius Junior, but he's let that one go over the whitewash. He disputes that decision. The linesman was right there, and it's a throw into Manchester City.
Need Rico Lewis to take. Looking for a bit of movement from the boys in blue.
It's just slowed down a little bit here as Lewis prepares to take the throw and drops it into Foden, who tries a cross on the volley. That's straight at Courtois, who clutches it and rolls it out to Tchouameni. Now Valverde, they need to get him involved on the ball more. Plays it inside to Camavinga. Back it goes to Asensio, who steps out of defence and finds Mendy. Ceballos takes a short pass, looks up, doesn't see any options, has to go back to Camavinga. Manchester City again just push up, trying to squeeze Real Madrid back inside their own penalty area. Courtois eventually has to pass it long himself. He just hoofs it downfield, one for Vinicius Junior to chase, but Diaz underneath it finds Gvardiol. He's under pressure now from two Real Madrid players, but dribbles away from both Brazilians and knocks it forward only to Tchouameni. Slid back into the feet of Rodrigo. Rodrigo checks back onto his right. A goal which took a while to be fully confirmed by video assistant referee. City play it out now to Bernardo Silva. He knocks it into midfield. Risky ball which Stone stretches for and then finds Gvardiol. It breaks to De Bruyne, who finds Foden out on the right hand side. He's up against Mendy, drifting infield. De Bruyne makes a good run ahead of him. That creates space now. Gvardiol, who has a shot, takes a deflection and goes wide for a corner.
Yeah, indeed, it was a quick transition from Manchester City to get that far up the pitch. Nice work from Foden to come inside. Whenever that happens, the defence do wonder whether the ball's going to be struck at them. Loads of space for Gvardiol. Charged down well by Tchouameni though. Good work from him to block the shot.
I should mention there has been another goal. It happened in the first half actually in the Champions League. Juventus lead PSV 1-0 in Turin. That's Weston McKennie who scored there. Here's the City corner from Foden. In at the near post, it's headed away by Real Madrid and hooked clear by Mbappe on the edge of his own box. City will retain possession though as they go back into their own half now with Diaz and Lewis. City dominating possession as they have done throughout this game, really. It's almost 60-40 now. Ancelotti's got to find a way of getting a foothold in the midfield area. City pass it square at the back, and Ake goes to Bernardo Silva, who pops up in a sort of auxiliary left-back position. Knocks it back to the goalkeeper. Now Diaz out to De Bruyne. Wearing the skipper's armband, he knocks it back to Diaz once more. Again, this is very good possession for Manchester City. They're just biding their time, probing and passing, trying to work this Real Madrid front line before finding the right pass to break them up. At the moment, they're remaining patient, which is what I'm sure Guardiola's told them to do at half-time. That would have been one of the sort of key tenets of his half-time speech. Just keep possession, keep passing. The opportunity will arise to break through this Real Madrid team once more. And here they come down the left again with Bernardo Silva. Back to Gvardiol. Bernardo Silva again. Real Madrid just haven't been able to get hold of the ball in this half. We've played 6 minutes and I think they've put about 6 touches. Ball over the top now. They seek out Haaland, but Tchouaméni took a good position and got there first. Heads it away. Bellingham plays it back to Ceballos. Now Real Madrid have got to show what they can do on the ball. Bellingham back into Ceballos. Little 1-2 with the Englishman, who looks up and he still can't find the right pass. Has to keep possession. PSV Eindhoven have equalised now in Turin. 1-1 in that game. Now Real Madrid work it right to Rodrigo. Valverde on the overlap. Bellingham sees him and tries to deliver a pass. The space there for the Uruguayan to hit, and he's on the ball now down that right-hand side. Waits for Mbappe on the edge of the box. He lays it off to Camavinga. Back to Valverde, who again sets up Camavinga. Goes wide to Ceballos, and now Vinicius Junior into the penalty area. Dancing feet, goes past Lewis. Gets the ball in. A header wide from Bellingham, of all people. He heads it wide. It was a good delivery from Vinicius Junior. It flashed across the face of goal, but wide of target.
Yeah, indeed. It was a tricky header, really, to get on target. It was crossed with a bit of power from Vinicius Junior, who's beaten Rico Lewis quite comfortably there. And yeah, Bellingham just can't get the header on target. Like I say, the cross came in with some power, so it was always going to be a tricky one to get on target. Real Madrid generated the first chance for some time, really. That goal for PSV is just under a VAR review for a potential handball.
Well, he scored some important headers in his time. Jude Bellingham, he's still so young, but he scored big goals for England and Real Madrid with his head. On that occasion, wasn't able to find the target. Looks like PSV's goal stands, I think.
Yep, Perisic it was with that, former Spurs player, of course.
They've got a chance again here, Real Madrid. Good footwork from Bellingham to get away from Foden, who's tracking him back now. He tries to slip it over the top to Mbappe, but it's headed clear by Ake. Comes back to Lewis. He returns it to the goalkeeper. Ederson smashes it long. One for Haaland to chase. And Savinho. But this one dealt with by Valverde. Now Camavinga just tripped up there by Bernardo Silva. Will give Real Madrid a free kick, and they want to take it quickly. Not quite able to do so. Eduardo Camavinga is often outnumbered in that first half. But that's a good ball. It's worked out well for Ceballos, who slips it forward to Mbappe. Mbappe then sweeps it wide to the right-hand side. And it's Rodrigo now attacking Gvardiol into the penalty area. Just took one too many touches, but he goes past the Croatian now to cut the cross back to Mbappe, whose shot is blocked by Ederson. 2 efforts now in the space of a couple of minutes for Real Madrid. Maybe they have tweaked something.
Indeed, their play moving forward. They get the ball forward a lot quicker, which I've noticed. And that's exactly what was working for them in the first 10-15 minutes, to try and catch City out when they play quite an attacking shape on the ball. They've got a chance to give Vinicius Junior coming into the box now, towards the byline, brings it back across, but it will only go out for a corner kick.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself now, Vinicius Junior, in those wide areas, one-on-one with Rico Lewis. On that occasion, he got past him again, but it was the work from Rodrigo moments ago that set up the good chance for Mbappe. He's hit it pretty well, but it's too close, really, to Ederson, who made a comfortable stop at his near post.
Indeed, but another chance for Los Blancos to get the ball in from a corner. It's played short to Mbappe, though.
Mbappe on his right foot goes for goal. It's headed away by Stones. Up in the air on the edge of the box, Bernardo challenging with Ceballos, who heads it back Real Madrid's way. And they'll try and keep the pressure on now, the visiting side. This is their best spell since the opening moments of the match. Tchouaméni into Bellingham's feet, turns away from Gvardiol. He knocks it back now to Camavinga. And now they go back to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni very deep. I think he's stepped off a lot, Tchouaméni. He's playing like a sweeper really more than a centre-back. They've really dropped off those two defenders to stop Manchester City from playing balls behind them. That may be the tweak that Ancelotti's made. He's got his centre-backs to drop off more. And now they'll try and get the ball behind the City defence, which is a good ball out wide to Mbappe. His touch let him down though. He presented it to Lewis, who made a clearance and knocked it out for a throw.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like there's going to be another Manchester City change. Kovacic is going to come on. Do wonder who he will replace. Perhaps De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, with defensive mind to the future of this game from Guardiola.
Ball goes back to Courtois. Beaten by that Haaland effort on 19 minutes. He's made a couple of decent stops since then. One from Foden, which was heading for the top corner. Bellingham. Risky ball to Ceballos, who's managed to get it out, and it's flicked on by Rodrigo to Mbappe, who's now heading towards goal. Head down, in full cry. Great tackle there, recovering from Gvardiol, but Mbappe's back to his feet and knocks it back to the edge of the area for the arriving Valverde. Back to Mbappe, right side of the box. Bellingham wants it. He won't get it though. Mbappe's played it to Ceballos instead. Then it slipped through to Rodrigo. Vinicius Junior in the box on his right foot. Can't get past Rico Lewis, who denies him on this occasion and clears, much to the cheers of the Manchester City fans.
Yeah, indeed. Nice work from Rico Lewis to get a foot in there. Dortmund take the lead away at Sporting as well. So each of the three games have seen goals now in the Champions League, and that is an absolutely fantastic tackle that we're just seeing back there from Gvardiol. He's gone to ground inside the box, so he has to get it right, and that he does. He's a little bit unfortunate the ball actually ricochets off of Mbappe's foot, which means the Frenchman can keep possession, but great work from the Croatian nonetheless. Yeah,
we've seen some cracking tackles tonight, haven't we, in this game? There's one from Asensio in the first half as well, and obviously Rico Lewis there denying Vinicius Junior on that last Real Madrid attack. So in a game of multi-million-pound stars, you can appreciate the tackles as well. De Bruyne picks it up in a bit of space, approaches the edge of the box, slips it to Haaland, but he's not got much of an angle to work with there. Tracked by Asensio, who follows him all the way outside the box. Savinho now has a chance to set something up for Gvardiol. Turns back on his right foot, but beaten there by Camavinga's outstretched boot. Real Madrid in transition now with Rodrigo, and Mbappe makes a run. I don't think he's seen him. He's gone back right to Vinicius Junior. He then heads towards goal. Again, another run from Mbappe is ignored. It's played back to Ceballos. Ceballos patiently trying to go forward. He's brought down by a City midfield. I think it's Bernardo, and that's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, it looks like it may be the first yellow card of the game. The referee did look to reach for his pocket. Ceballos just checks the ball back, and yeah, it's just late from Bernardo Silva. Nothing dangerous really, but it's definitely a foul. Doesn't get any of the ball. Just await confirmation if he has been given a yellow card or not. The referee may have just been reaching for that magic spray, which he did drop earlier in the game, of course.
Yeah, we saw
what would they do without that?
Yeah, we saw Mateo Kovacic, looked like he was going to come on a few moments ago. They showed us a shot of the bench, and he was ready to come on, but I think Pep Guardiola just delaying that move right now as Real Madrid have this pressure and this free kick. Ceballos looks like he's placed the ball, but then Rodrigo's there as well. The cameras are on him.
Sorry, yeah, he just tends to be the set-piece taker, does Rodrigo, I believe. Bernardo Silva's punishment for giving away the free kick is to lay behind the wall as the draft excluder.
Mbappe is just inquiring with the referee about something or other. He's now used his spray and marked where the wall cannot encroach from. So this is 25 yards out. It'll either be it's hit right-footed by Valverde, comes back to Ceballos, who chips it back in. There's a chance for Mbappe, and he's put it in the back of the net. It's an awful touch, but it won't matter. It will count, I think. Mbappe wheels away in celebration, but that's come off his shin. It does not matter. It's Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Shanks for coming, says Mbappe. Slices it into the net. I mean, you've got to question Edison. I can understand what he's done. He's sort of jumped and made himself big just to try and cover that angle. I mean, it does look like that Mbappe's just going to smack it as hard as he can at the goal, really, which is probably a good idea from 8 yards out. But I do wonder if Edison just could have kept his feet. I mean, it looked like the free kick from Valverde went under the wall. Mbappe's definitely onside, sorry. Yeah, and Ederson, just do wonder. I mean, I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to jump and make himself big, which is fair enough. But in doing so, he does leave 80% of the net open. I mean,
I said shin.
He's never going to predict that, is he? But
I said shin. I think it's knee. I think this has come off.
No, I don't know, is it
shin? Yeah, it's his side
straight
of his
off the shin pad.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, it's been a fantastic game. It wasn't particularly a fantastic goal. Just as we say, just sliced off of Mbappe's shin, just bounces a yard over the line. I think Ederson was claiming offside, and Mbappe has revitalised Real Madrid's hopes of getting back into the game, as it was looking bleak towards the end of the first half. But they're certainly making a case for this game. It looks like Vinny Jr. may even be mocking Ederson there. Can't confirm that, of course, though, for his almost lack of efforts to prevent the ball from going into the net.
Yeah, hour gone, and all that good work for Manchester City's been undone by a slightly fortuitous finish, but there had been some pressure from Real Madrid, and it looks like they've just sorted out what was the issue for them defending Manchester City earlier on. His Foden, the substitute, slips it now to Rico Lewis, the fellow sub, and he now finds De Bruyne centrally, operating across the middle. It's played wide to Savinho, chips a high ball in. That's going to be gobbled up by Courtois. And Real Madrid have possession back once more. It'll be a frustrating watch this for Guardiola, who'll have seen his team dominate and have chances and be repelled by Real Madrid, and now they're back on level terms. But likewise, Real Madrid had those chances in the early moments, didn't put them away, and they were behind for about 45 minutes of this game. Now back on level terms. There's Ferland Mendy knocking it back to Asensio. Bellingham passing it back to the Spaniard, and now it goes back to Courtois. Well, Real Madrid will hope that they might be able to get one or two defenders back for next week's second leg. I mean, I'm not sure how close they are, but a bit of extra time in the treatment room. They might be able to get maybe one of those three centre-back. Probably not Eder Militao. I think he's long-term, isn't he? But maybe Rudiger.
Yeah, Rudiger, Alaba, and Vazquez all, I think, relatively short-term injuries when they were ruled out. So, like you say, we're looking for them to be available in 7 days. Mbappe looking to feed through Rodrigo. They've still got the ball, though.
Yeah, Mbappe down the left-hand side. He's running towards the penalty area. Tries to play it outside the boot ball to Rodrigo. It's just a bit behind him, but here's Valverde. And he just put it wide. The Uruguayan joins up with the attack and hits a first-time shot just a metre or so wide.
Yeah, it looked like that was going to go crashing into the back of the net. He certainly hit it with power. It may have gone through the net had it have gone in. Really good work from Mbappe. A great ball, you have to say, with the outside of his right boot. Just a little bit behind Rodrigo. And a poor touch from Savinho just allows his fellow South American to come onto it. I mean, you wouldn't say he has to get it on target, but he probably ought to from what is a tight angle but relatively close range. That or put it across the box, thinking these kind of games you've really got to take those chances.
Yeah, Mateo Kovacic is on. I'm assuming it's John Stones who's gone off here, is it? It doesn't look like I can see.
No, it's Nathan Ake. I think Stones has slipped back into defence with Diaz and Gvardiol, and Rico Lewis are still playing as though in those inverted fullbacks.
Here's Gvardiol, one of them. Plays it up to De Bruyne, edge of the box, turning, trying to flick it through to Bernardo. Might get another chance there off a slightly loose clearance from Ceballos. Now it falls to Gvardiol, whose cross takes a deflection. Haaland can't reach it. Mendy used his body just to shield it. And now the Frenchman knocks it down the line. Finding Bellingham, who chests it on the run and glides past Kovacic. He's got the legs to beat him, but a sliding challenge from the Croatian puts it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, poor touch from Guardiola, it has to be said, as the ball hits
That was it.
You'd have thought a player of his quality would have controlled it, but maybe we're being harsh. That's not his job anymore, of course.
As Real Madrid knock it round the back. Now, his job now is to try and maybe just find a way through a bit of clear thinking to help his team win this game. Ball over the top, trying to seek out Mbappe, who brings it down, can't get past Stones though, who's, as you say, swapped back into central defence now, and good one-on-one defending there from the ex-Everton man. He finds Kovacic, who's got loads of space to run into in midfield. Now he plays over the top for Haaland. Haaland running towards goal, but off his line quickly. Courtois closes the space and picks it up.
Yeah, we've seen 2 or 3 nice long balls towards that box, both in a few in either half, really. Both goalkeepers have been, and both goalkeepers are really competent sweeper keepers, aren't they? And you kind of have to be when in these sort of games when you're up against quick strikers, as again both teams do boast.
Well, the winners of this Champions League, the last 2 seasons level at 1 apiece after 65 minutes. The holders striking back through. I forgot the goal scorer now. Through Mbappe moments ago. Yeah.
Both number 9s have scored.
Yeah. By the way, last year's finalists at Dortmund also scoring again to go 2-0 up over Sporting in Lisbon. Real Madrid have it at the back with Ceballos, who just motors into midfield now. He's looking for that ball through to Mbappe. Has to go square where there was space for Valverde. He now looks to unlock the defence again. It's a nice ball out to the back post. And it is Bellingham denied by Edison. Brilliant run from Bellingham. Fantastic ball from Valverde, but Edison makes the save. And now City try and attack. De Bruyne rides a challenge, finds Haaland. Haaland back over for either De Bruyne or Savinho. Not enough accuracy on that pass, though. And Real Madrid smuggle it back to the keeper, who clears. But they're creating lots of chances now, Real Madrid, aren't they?
They are, absolutely. I mean, it's it's end-to-end football, really, which ironically sort of suits both teams in that there's gaps in both defences. But Real Madrid certainly seem to be making the use of those. That's a wonderful ball over the top from Vinicius Junior to Mbappe. He looks offside, but the flag will stay down for now as he rolls into the box and just hits the post. The flag does indeed go up in the end. He did look offside initially. It's a couple of times that has happened for the Frenchman, but yet again, danger signs for Manchester City. I think he probably could have been onside and still got that ball.
Yeah, he just crept, hadn't he? I think City defence pushed out, so he
played the offside, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a risky game though, isn't it? You know, leaving that much space behind for Mbappe to run into. He's always going to fashion some kind of finish. On that occasion, actually, his finish hit the post and went wide anyway, but still too risky for Manchester City. And they come again here, City, with Kovacic to the edge of the box. Challenge from Camavinga's a good one. He's upped his game second half. Now Bellingham plays it back to the Frenchman, who goes into a challenge and loses out to Ruben Dias. City getting each other's way now, but Kovacic goes over and then knocks it forward to Mbappe. Mbappe beaten there by Asensio's intervention. He knocks it out for a throw.
Indeed, more great work from the young Spanish centre-half, who's filling in really at the moment. He's been a bit quieter in this half, but still certainly been extremely impressive. He sort of single-handedly defended the Manchester City onslaught 5 or 10 minutes after their first goal. Manchester City a bit more patience on the ball now, following what was a period of 10 minutes. It was pretty end-to-end.
Yeah, as City come again, right-hand side with Phil Foden. Knocks it back to Gvardiol. Ruben Dias. Now Foden again. Taking on Mendy. Things opening up in the centre. Rides a challenge from Bellingham. Plays a careful ball out to Savinho. Savinho crosses. It comes off the back of Valverde and goes behind for a corner. Well, that is now pretty much halfway through the second half. It is still Man City 1, Real Madrid 1 to take you through to full time. It's going to be Kieran Shelley.
Thanks, Simon. So, yeah, as mentioned, it's still 1-1 at the Etihad. It's been pretty equal since that Mbappe goal went in. You think you could certainly argue that Real Madrid have the better opportunities to create a goal-scoring opportunity. Ball comes in from De Bruyne, but he only finds his fellow Belgian Courtois. Not for the first time, really. I think both goalkeepers have been, or both teams from set pieces have been pretty poor. A couple of Real Madrid corners were easily headed away by Haaland. A couple of Manchester City corners caught by Courtois. I mean, neither team are particularly known for their set pieces or for their fantastic play during the open play situations. Another long ball attempted towards Mbappe. It always looked like it was going to roll through to Edison, which it does. He's looking to get the play flowing through Kovacic. Confirmation that Gross scored the second goal for Dortmund in Portugal against Sporting. Last year's finalists, of course. The winners of last year's Champions League. Still equal to Manchester City. I mean, this was obviously the standout fixture in the qualifying round, as it's now called, of the Champions League. Two teams who, in the sort of the last 3 or 4 years, and including this season, you could probably bank on being in the final.
Yeah, the two most decorated managers as well, isn't it? You know, I think probably the competition's history. You know, Guardiola's won it multiple times, so has Ancelotti. And it's been a really interesting tactical battle, the way it sort of swung this way and that. You know, I thought at the first half, Guardiola had the upper hand, but Ancelotti's definitely changed something. I think that the defence is sitting deeper, and it's definitely helped his team get back into the game.
Yeah, indeed, but they've got more defending to do now. Rico Lewis absolutely flashed the ball across the box. Seemed to come off of Haaland's chest and go out for play. City are protesting that Rico Lewis was fouled as he crossed the ball in. By Asensio it may have been. No, yeah, it was Asensio flying in, and he definitely didn't get the ball. The referee's ruled it must be a corner. Sorry, a goal kick, as it did come off of Haaland. Haaland's midriff and out of play. Potentially Asensio's gotten away on there, but it didn't look like a Stonewall penalty, did it?
No, I think we've seen better claims turned down already in this game, to be honest. It was more of a coming together than we've said that a few times, than a foul. I just wonder what, probably Guardiola, the onus is on him to change this game now. 1-1's a decent result for Real Madrid, probably a good result actually, with the injuries they've got. They'll fancy the chances of doing a bit more at home, so it's up to Guardiola to find a solution now, I think, and he's got to go to the bench.
Yeah, he has, but Camavinga's found his way into the box. Unknown territory really for him in the aspect of this game. Losing out though, and De Bruyne will try and bring the ball away for a counter-attack. Haaland's gone flying in. He's judged to have been fouled by Camavinga, who was back trying to win the ball again. So yeah, Pep Guardiola has it to do really. That being said, he has only got 2 changes left, whereas Real Madrid of course have 5.
Yeah, I mean, the new players like Omar Marmoush and Abdelkader, Kuzanov, he probably wouldn't have wanted to use them tonight. You know, maybe they're just on the bench for emergencies. But someone like Jeremy Doku, who's been with the club a couple of seasons now, you know, he'd be someone that you think might be in the manager's thoughts, you know, to play, you know, and try and make something happen in a wide area that might turn into something.
Absolutely. I mean, on paper, he's almost the perfect substitute, isn't he? Someone who's got that absolutely fantastic burst of pace over 10 yards up against tired defenders. I mean, if you put him up against Valverde and Asensio, for example, I think he'd certainly cause some damage getting in behind. Maybe that's on Pep Guardiola's mind, that around the 80th minute mark, when those defenders are at their tiredest, he can come on and cause some issues. Like I say, he may also be waiting for Ancelotti to play his cards. He's still got 5 substitutions in the bank as the Italian manager, and that's obviously a small issue for Pep Guardiola if he does choose to make any changes any quicker. Just looking back at that Ederson save from the chance from Bellingham, it's a good save, but you'd say Bellingham probably should be doing better in terms of trying to find the corners of the goal. It's an absolutely fantastic ball to find him, of course. De Bruyne-esque, really, the pass, wasn't it? Asensio's bringing the ball forward now, past halfway to Vinny Jr., who's sitting a bit deep for him. Well, it's a high line from the citizens. Back now with Asensio. Courtois inside his own 6-yard box. He'll try and take the ball away from Bernardo Silva. Right-footed clearance up towards Rodrigo. Nice chest from him, looking to find Valverde, but Savinho picks it up. He's then fouled by the Uruguayan. Those two have had a nice little duel all evening between them since Savinho moved over following the removal of Jack Grealish from the game. He went straight down the tunnel for some treatment. Not quite sure what caused him that discomfort. Akanji as well has gone off with a small injury, which isn't great news for Pep Guardiola's side. 2 players that you'd think would make the starting lineup in games to come.
Oh, yeah, got some huge games coming up, haven't they, in the Premier League? They play Liverpool. I think they play Newcastle as well. So, you know, and they're not certain of finishing in the top 4. I mean, obviously top 5, it looks like he's going to be good enough for a Champions League slot next season. But say they were to go out at this stage of the Champions League this year, it puts a lot of pressure on their Premier League campaign.
Yeah, indeed. Including tonight, it's Real Madrid at home, Newcastle at home, Real Madrid away, Liverpool at home, and Tottenham Hotspur away. And none of those are going to be easy fixtures if we assume Spurs will have most of their players
They've
return.
They've got a bad record at Tottenham Hotspur. They've lost there already this season.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. So not an easy 5 games, including the remaining 15 minutes of this one, for Pep Guardiola to contend with. There just seems to have been a tussle off the ball between Asensio and Haaland. I mean, it's just like toddlers, isn't it, really? That one. I mean, Asensio sort of touching and nudging Haaland. Haaland just grabs his shirt and simply doesn't let go. And of course, Asensio then retaliates. And I think in the end, the foul was given against going to say against Asensio, but it's in a defensive
Yeah,
area.
it was on the other side of the pitch, wasn't it? I think.
For City, I don't think the referee has punished either player. Rightly so. Ball over the top for Haaland to chase. Tchouaméni's going to get there first. Not convincingly though, just a deft touch really for Bernardo Silva to allow to run out of play. Back to Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis looking along the line rather than forward. Does go forward to Foden though. Bernardo Silva now on the right hand side. Back inside to Kovacic. Kovacic to Stones. Stones back to Kovacic, who's got a little bit of space but decides not to go forward and sits on the ball. City playing a patient game at the moment. Back now with Kovacic. Kovacic to Rico Lewis. Back with Stones. Stones down to De Bruyne, who dropped a bit deeper. Kovacic again. And now Diaz on the edge of the centre circle. Chance for him to try and bring the ball forward. Looking for options. Savinho's right on the byline on the left hand side. Looks like Stones will use him, but no, ignores him. Goes into Gvardiol. Gvardiol now to Rico Lewis. They've made a bit of ground now. City phone on the edge of the box onto that left foot, trying to dance around Ceballos. The referee's given a penalty. Wow, I was not expecting that. It just looked like a coming together. I'm sure it will be reviewed. I mean, Ceballos didn't win the ball. There's an argument he was clumsy defending, but it did just like a coming together at first.
Well, he's got a good view of it, and he's one of the top referees that UEFA have got. Yeah. For me, I thought that's going to get waved away, but it's given us a penalty.
Indeed, and I'm sure it will be reviewed. It wasn't 100% actually in the box. In fact, the contact's right on the line. Of course, on the line does count as in the box.
I think it's right. You know, I think he is. You know,
he has impeded him.
He's going between two defenders. It's clumsy from Ceballos. I think at this level, you expect the defending to be a little less clumsy than that, and. You know, Phil Foden's not gone down easily there. He's gone down because he's been caught on his knee and he's still down. I think this penalty is going to stand.
Yeah, I don't think it's certainly not a clear and obvious error if UEFA go by those rules as we supposedly do in the Premier League. Foden's in some serious discomfort here with his right knee. He looks like he's in trouble here.
Well, that's bad news for City because they've lost Grealish and Akanji already, and they don't want to lose another player. But at least he's won a penalty here for his driving run. It's knee to knee, isn't it? And that's painful. Just a bit too clumsy from Ceballos. You know, you get into that area, you've got to be absolutely spot on with your tackling. We've seen some great penalty area tackles in this match already. That was not a good example of one. But we've seen so many penalty appeals waved away. I thought that was going to be as well.
Yeah, indeed. Looked like the referee was playing a strict game tonight, didn't it? And like I say, at first glance, it just looked like it was a coming together of the shoulders, really. But upon review, like I say, it's left to right knee. And Foden in a bit of discomfort, but he's back to his feet. I think it's one of those sort of bone-on-bone shocks rather than any ligament damage or muscular damage. He's still limping, but I think anyone who's played football know that they can take a few yards to shrug off, for sure.
Well, he's not been perfect from the penalty spot this season, has he, Erling Haaland? And there's been a long delay between the award and the actual taking of the penalty kick. There's still Real Madrid players around the referee and around Haaland, just trying to psych him out, if you can psych out the Norwegian. But finally, they move away, and we're going to see the mano-a-mano moment of Haaland versus Courtois.
Yeah, arguably the best striker in Europe versus arguably the best goalkeeper in Europe. It's quite the matchup. You always favour, well, you have to always favour the attacking player from 12 yards.
Yeah.
Rodri looking on the
Ballon d'Or holder. I wonder if Guardiola can dare to watch. Sometimes we've seen him, almost turn away when his team have got important penalties.
Indeed. So Haaland with the chance from the spot. Courtois doing a little bit of dancing in goal, lifting his right arm. Haaland shoots, bottom corner. Simple finish really from 12 yards. Haaland has doubled Manchester City's lead. And 4 games without a goal versus Los Blancos before today, and he's netted twice. With just over 10 minutes left of regular time, it looks like he's going to give his side a commanding lead going into the second leg. Of course, Los Blancos won't fold over easily now. So we've got a good 10 minutes of football on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, 2-1 as it is right now is not the worst score for Real Madrid. They could turn around a 1-goal deficit at home, but now they've got 10 minutes with City with renewed vigour and momentum to try and survive and at least get to full time with only 2-1. I mean, there's a possibility that Real Madrid, they've hit back before, can do it again, but you think now this is really sort of set up the last 10 minutes to be, you know, Manchester City piling on the pressure, trying to get that third goal as well.
Absolutely. If there's anything we've learned from Pep Guardiola's side, it's that they don't settle for one-goal leads. That's for sure, especially in an aggregate fixture, or a two-legged fixture, I should say, like this. Plenty of celebrations from the crowd, of course. Huge fixture for them, and a huge goal in this tie as well. Dortmund have gone 3-0 up away at Sporting, so they've got 1 foot in the round of 16 of the Champions League already. Mbappe trying to encourage his team to keep their spirits held high. His former side, PSG, of course, won 3-0 earlier in today's Champions League round. Great tackle from Stones again on Rodrigo. We have been treated to some excellent sliding tackles. Ceballos has made way for Modric. I was just thinking if Ancelotti would look to his bench. He's only decided to make one change, interestingly, with 8.5 minutes left. He still has 4 to make should he choose. I just think Modric will be in there now to help the game tick over, control the game from midfield, help the transition. Looks like from the outset he's going to play a bit deeper than Camavinga. Now a nice ball out to Rodrigo on the right hand side. He's going to try and dance away from his fellow countryman Savinho, but the City player wins that duel. Gvardiol now trying to bring it away. Cynical foul from Rodrigo, just grabbing him back. It's the easiest decision you can give a referee to make. And you just wonder if what Ancelotti's thinking, really, only bringing on one change. I'd have expected to see 2 or 3.
Well, I wonder if Ceballos also hurt himself in that challenge that gave away the penalty.
Maybe.
You know, it's his knee on Foden's knee. We saw Foden down for a while. We didn't see what happened to Ceballos afterwards. I'm assuming he was sort of back to his feet quite quickly because he didn't want to look like he'd given away a penalty. But yeah, he was taken off, and I don't see any ice pack coming out for him there. I think he's just gutted that he's given away a penalty at that moment. And I think Ancelotti, understanding top players, has taken him off at that point just to spare him, you know, and also try and you know, just try and lift his team as well with the introduction of Modric.
Yeah, indeed. I think that is indeed the idea. So Manchester City on the ball now. Kovacic bringing it inside the Madrid half, out to Gvardiol on the left side. Looks like there's been an issue off the ball there involving Kovacic and Camavinga. Camavinga's gone down and stayed down for a short while in a bit of discomfort. The referee's buying into it, and we're going to see the final 2 City changes. So it's going to be Marmoush and Gundogan to come on. De Bruyne's going to make way, as is Savinho. I mean, De Bruyne's been fairly quiet, actually, hasn't he? Really, he's most of the time he's spent on that right hand side, and that's where he's had most of the ball. He's not having his best season at all, really, but he's done enough to help his side be in the lead at this stage in the game. Savinho's also been impressive. Nothing, again, nothing particularly blockbuster from him, but he's done his job well.
Yeah, you know, big games to come, obviously. 2-1. I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, I think the substitution is to try and keep the intensity there, isn't it, for these last few minutes? So he's taking De Bruyne off, resting him for big games to come, but also trying to just keep those energy levels high, the pressing, the runs that the City forwards will make. You know, they need to just double their efforts now to try and get this third goal in these final few minutes.
Indeed, and there's another change for Real Madrid as well. Brahim Diaz has come on for Rodrigo, so that'll be Diaz, a striker really by trade.
Yeah, ex-City player as well. He had a brief time.
And, AC Milan, of course, so he's played for 3 European giants, really. Adeyemi is the player who put Dortmund 3 to the good in Lisbon, and Mbangula has scored for Juventus as well in Turin. They're now 2-1 up against PSV, so each of the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League have been treated to 3 goals. Great tackle from Rico Lewis to prevent Vinicius Junior from getting in behind. Real Madrid still pushing on. Modric, the now captain, finds Mbappe to Bellingham. Bellingham down to Diaz. Diaz finds Valverde. Nice overlapping run from Diaz. Diaz will keep the ball in play following a harrying from Marmoush. Valverde Back to Tuchemeni, who plays the ball in deep to the back stick. It'll be easy for Ederson to claim as we tick over into the 86th minute. Ancelotti looking on, hoping his substitutes can make a difference. He has still got 3 left, of course, with 5 minutes left on this game. You wonder if, with the injury issues, he's thinking that this is an overturnable result, if that's a word. And he can rest some players, perhaps. Bellingham now, bringing the ball forward to Diaz. Plenty of City players back. Diaz playing it forward to Vinicius Junior, who shoots straight. Ederson, follow-up comes in from Diaz. Substitute makes his impact. He's refusing to celebrate. As Simon mentioned, he has spent time at City. But, well, that's shown me, hasn't it? I wondered what Ancelotti was doing, not using his substitutes, and one of the ones he has used has come on and scored.
Yeah, it's worked perfectly, hasn't it? And okay, it's fallen straight to Brahim Diaz, but he's come off the bench, he's come off cold. This is like his 2nd or 3rd touch in the game, and it's an unerring finish off a rebound that comes at him quick. It's a great finish from Brahim Diaz. And City will be wondering how on earth they've let this happen. You know, they were in control of the game. It's a poor clearance from Ederson. Does he need to do that? Why is he kicking it in that fashion? I don't know. But it's in the end, it's led to an important goal. Shot across his bows, which he parries back, so it's a double mistake from the keeper, really. But still a great finish from Brahim Diaz.
Yeah, Ederson just diverts his shoulder towards the ball for the initial save from Vinicius Junior. Really strange decision from him. I mean, then I don't know what Kovacic is doing in terms of marking Brahim Diaz. I mean, he's almost trying to watch his run, almost just guessing where the ball is going to land. I don't know. And then when the ball does come off of his goalkeeper, he sort of just swans towards it. Not particularly interested in winning it, and it's poor, really. Poor defending from City. They had plenty of players back. There's absolutely no reason why they should have conceded in that position. It probably doesn't even reach the top 3 of the best chances for Manchester City. But Brahim Diaz against his old team.
Well, he's had problems with his goalkeepers this season, hasn't he? Or, I mean, I don't know whether they've been problems necessarily by the goalkeepers or whether Guardiola has just lost faith in both his goalkeepers at times, and that's going to go down as a massive error from Ederson there. You know, late in the game to initially play a poor kick out and then compound it with what was a bizarre attempted save off his chest.
Yeah. City coming forward again, Foden with the ball into the box. Headers won by a Real Madrid man and then kept in play by Courtois, who catches well. So he will get Real Madrid on the attack again. I mean, Real Madrid would absolutely love to score another late goal here at the Etihad Stadium.
I don't think Ederson's future at City's that secure, to be honest. There's been rumours about Saudi Arabia. You know, City have been looking round at the goalkeepers, probably because they think Ortega's going to leave as well. It could be a big change around. You know, obviously they've made some massive signings in January, but I would imagine that surgery will continue in the summer.
Yeah, indeed. Who knows? We might see Scott Carson at the Bernabeu. But yeah, of course, in the City squad for political reasons, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? He's got one of the many players City have who's grown in a UK academy. Bellingham's fouled by Bernardo Silva. In fact, he's not. The referee waves it away. It looked like a certain foul from Bernardo Silva on the edge of the area from Bellingham, who was charging through.
I love the way that Bellingham then could read him going, Madre mia.
Yeah, absolutely. He's of course fluent in Spanish now since his move. He's been there 2 or 3 years since joining from Dortmund. Of course, had to play against his old side in last year's Champions League final. Successful, of course, with Los Blancos. And it's Kovacic now trying to bring the ball forward. Rico Lewis very much playing as a midfielder when City are on the ball, of course, as Pep Guardiola fullbacks are instructed to do. Marmoush now on the ball, the Egyptian. Just looking to skip past Diaz, but he's also fit and warm and energetic. Forces him backwards. Diaz now on the halfway line, 20 seconds left of regular play. Bellingham thought he'd nicked it off the Portuguese centre-half's feet. He just rolled back to Stones. Kovacic to Gvardiol. There'll be 3 minutes of added time, so certainly below average for second half stoppage time. Gundogan Bringing it forward, now Marmouche again on this left-hand side up against Valverde. Overlapping run for Gundogan. He's going to try and skip past Tchouaméni. Lovely little nutmegs on him and almost given away inside his own area by Valverde, but Camavinga can clean up and Modric will try and bring it away to Diaz. Poor ball forward from him towards Bellingham, but he has won the throw-in following the challenge from Gvardiol. Just looking at his potential free kick again. I mean, it's a clear foul, isn't it?
Yeah. He's impeded.
Yeah. Bernardo Silva doesn't win the ball. Looks like he goes for the man, if anything, really.
Yeah.
Perhaps lucky not to get a yellow card. Not quite sure what the referee saw there. I think most things tonight he's got right, but that one was perhaps a controversial one. It looks like Mbappe might be walking off the pitch. There are still 3 Real Madrid substitutes to use with just over 2 minutes left of stoppage time. We see a replay of his goal, and he won't go down as one of his finest.
Yeah.
But all that matters is that it goes over the white line.
Yeah, the assist from Ceballos was good. I'd forgotten that. Obviously, he then gave away the penalty moments later, but he was in credit for his performance prior to that and the way he set up Mbappe for that scuffed finish.
So Fran Garcia has come on, number 20 for Los Blancos, who are playing in orange this evening. Ball forward from Asensio. Think he's got a case for player of the match?
Yeah, I think so.
Really impressive, hasn't he? And Vinny Jr. running through now, looking to chip Ederson. The ball's gone over him. Bellingham looks to get there, which he does. And Real Madrid, if the flag stays down, which it has, may have won this in the last few minutes. And it's not something that hasn't happened before against Manchester City.
I mean, again, you're looking at Manchester City's players and saying, how have you let this happen? It's
so
not
cool.
a difficult ball to deal with, but they get themselves in a right pickle. And the goalkeeper comes when does he need to come? I mean, I don't want to point the finger at Ederson yet again because there are other players, definitely other players at fault in this goal. But his decision to come looks a little bit foolish when the ball's just played past him for Bellingham to basically walk the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, whether Bellingham's there or not, I don't think it's the right decision to come out. I mean, it's Kovacic who plays the ball back. Rico Lewis misses it. Vinny Jr. latches onto it. Why Ederson's come out that far, I'm not quite sure when Diaz is covering. I mean, you could pick holes with 3 or 4 players here. I mean, John Stones shouldn't be letting Bellingham get ahead of him there either to latch onto the ball from Vinny Jr. I mean, there's 3 or 4 reasons why this shouldn't end up in the back of Manchester City's goal. They've only got themselves to blame, and Real Madrid a good value for the win.
Unbelievable, isn't it? You know, 2-1 down, 5 minutes to go. I'm thinking, well, this is Manchester City pressing now for the last few minutes to try and get a third, and it's Real Madrid who are going to win the game now. They just never give up belief, do they? This is their competition, 15 times winners. It's like they just always seem to pull something out.
They do. I mean, if any team knows how to win a game in the Champions League, it is, of course, them.
And that's it.
And that will be that. So it finishes at the Etihad. Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 3.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result